Hello and welcome again to the video presentation for UDPL 3303 International Transport Management. In this video section, I will discuss about the transport regulation in Malaysia. This will apply in Malaysia but also can be applied for any situation, any countries all around the world. My name is Muhammad Azam bin Din. Welcome again to this video session. In this video session, we're going to look at the government authorities, especially the ministries that involve in transportation activities. These ministries either involved directly or indirectly with transportation activities, and also we're going to look at what are the implications from any of these ministries' policies affected transportation activities. The first ministry that we're going to study is the Ministry of Transport, or MOT. These ministries directly involved with transportation activities in Malaysia. The Ministry of Transport create policies that involve with land transportation, air transportation, and as well as maritime transport. The Ministry of Transport is responsible for developing policies related to all type of transportation modes. This ministry also responsible for the development of infrastructure that is related to each mode of transportation. In the Ministry of Transport, there are 16 agencies or departments that involve in managing and monitoring each mode of transportation. Specifically, there are departments or agencies that involve in monitoring each mode of transport consisting either road, rail, maritime, and air transportation. The second ministry that we're going to look is the Ministry of Home Affairs. This ministry is responsible for the safety and security of civilians who live in Malaysia. The ministry also responsible for agencies that enforcing law and order towards safety of Malaysians and other people who lives in Malaysia. There are two government bodies under Ministry of Home Affairs that involve in enforcing law and order related to transportation. The first is the Royal Malaysian Police and the second is the Maritime Enforcement Agency, or the Coast Guard. The Royal Malaysian Police Traffic Police enforces law and order especially related to road transport, whereas the Coast Guard enforces law on ocean transport, especially those who sails under the economic exclusive zone. The third ministry is the Ministry of Defence, or known as MINDEF. This ministry is responsible for national security, the Army, Navy, Air Force, and also the intelligence services. One of the armed forces branch that involved in securing maritime transport is the Royal Malaysian Navy. The Navy will protect any vessel that has been tracked or attacked by pirates or militants. The involvement of navies will ensure that any ocean vessel that sails under Malaysian waters is safe from any threats and attack. Now we're going to discuss on implication when policies from any of these ministries released and how it affected the transportation activities. We're going to look at how does such policy from this ministry affected the movement of goods, and also how a transport coordinator should react when such policies has been released. As a logistic or transport coordinators, one has to react when any of these ministry issue regulation. For example, near to any festive season, especially in Malaysia, the Ministry of Transport will impose restriction for lorry and heavy vehicles to move on the road and highways. Such restriction is to ensure smooth movement of car and buses. Also, this restriction is intended to reduce road accident and fatalities, especially between cars and heavy vehicles. When such restriction incurs, logistician or transport planner is required to inform their client on restriction imposed by the ministry. Logistician need to ensure that no movement of their transport is moved during such restriction order, or not they will faces the law and heavy penalties will be given to their companies. They need to educate their client on such restriction and tell the clients that movement should be moved as swift as possible. Such movement prior to restriction will ensure no disruption in supply chain of the goods from the manufacturers to the client. Now we have come to the end of this video presentation. I hope that you have gained some knowledge about the ministries and the regulations. How does such ministry govern and how does it impact to transport movement? I'm looking forward for my next video presentation. My name is Muhammad Azam bin Din. Goodbye and till we meet again.